Hey guys, it's Wednesday and it is 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, or I guess it's a couple minutes later than that. I had a little trouble getting on Facebook with my computer here, but we're up and running. So what I wanted to do this week is do a question and answer for about 15-20 minutes or so, talking about strength training versus cardio, what burns more fat, all that kind of stuff. So what I'd like you to do is let me know that you're here. So put in your comments, I'm here. Let me know if you have any questions at all. That's what I'm here for, is to help, maybe answer some of those questions that you had, kind of comparing the two. One isn't worse than the other one. They're both important. A lot of it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to build some muscle along with burning some fat, if you're really trying to just, hey, hi Heidi, nice to see you. I hope you have some questions for me too. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking. So Sonia's here, and Kim and Pam. There's Pam, I love it, you guys. So this is, and Valerie, very good. So hello from MT. Is that Montana, maybe? Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. So we're talking about strength training versus cardio. Not that one is bad or worse than the other, or one is better than the other. They're both really good for you. There's benefits of both cardio, which is like running and jogging, biking, those kinds of things, versus strength training, which is lifting weights, resistance bands, kettlebells, those kinds of things. So I'd love to take some questions. I want to provide you some answers to any questions you have. I've did a webinar about cardio and building muscle and how much should I eat and all of that, and you'll find that in one of the units in the group too, if you ever want to take a peek at that. So, oh, and yoga, thoughts on yoga in there too. You know what, we'll start with that, Jennifer. Yoga is really, really good for you. And I'm going to tell you that I'm not the biggest fan of doing it myself, and that's a belief. So I talk about, hey Caitlin, how are you? And Margaret, good. So I talk about belief system and changing that, right? So my belief system needs to be changed about yoga. I personally struggle with doing it because it's not a fast-paced thing for me. I like things that keep me moving. I know there are some like yoga flow and different types of yoga, but for me it's learning the moves and things like that. But it's super beneficial because when I do it, I feel amazing. And what yoga does is it's going to increase the blood flow into those muscles and the stretching, also your ligaments, and all of that. You're going to become more pliable. And what that does then is it feeds all the oxygen into those muscles, especially if after you do yoga. It's kind of like having that massage too, where they work out the knots in your muscles and things. And what it does is just kind of opens up the muscle fibers, and you're actually able to move more fluidly, but you can, your activity can increase, you're not as sore. It's super, super beneficial. It's actually really good for your muscles because you're actually holding certain poses, right? And you're what's the word I want to use? You're holding your balance in your core, and you're tensing up your muscles, so it's really good for your muscles. So yoga's amazing. Some of the yoga is like a little cardio too, as well, depending on how fast you are moving, so you can really sweat while you're doing yoga. So I find it very beneficial. I don't do it as much as I should, and that I have to change that mindset of mine. So hey Dawn, how's it going? I love having you all here. If anybody has any questions, please throw them my way. We're talking about cardio versus strength training. And so what I want to talk about is, there's this timeless question about what's better for you. Is it cardio or weights? And honestly, they're both very, very good for you, and they both have their own benefits. Some are the same benefits. So so some of the benefits of your cardio is it improves your cardiovascular health, like your heart health, and the cardiothoracic system, your respiratory system, your lungs, and all of that. So it improves your heart health, right? So running, biking, elliptical, stair mill, treadmill, all of that is really, really important. It gets that heart pumping, which is what you really want when you're doing cardio. Walking, of course, walking is really important, getting your steps in every day. If you don't like running, there's so many other things you can do for cardio: cycling, hiking, walking, jogging. You don't have to run, you can just jog, and even swimming if you really enjoy the water and swimming and things. Cardio regulates your appetite. It will curb kind of that surfing around the kitchen, especially if you're prone to snacking, which a lot of us are. And those who do some cardio, like high intensity cardio, so like your HIIT workouts, you eat 11% less in the 24 hours following, because it's a very what do I call it? Fat burning, but increases your metabolism, and it actually gives you an after burn effect. So you're burning calories hours after you do a HIIT workout. So it's really, really good to combine that type of cardio, like your HIIT, with some strength training. So that's important. And so when you're doing like cardio like that, like your high intensity interval training, which is more intervals, not just a constant run or a constant jog or constant bike ride, what happens is you're diverting the blood flow to your muscles and you're taking it away from your stomach. So it actually is feeding your muscles, helping your muscles grow, pushing the oxygen and stuff into your muscles. It takes it away from the stomach. So it kind of puts a kibosh on you feeling super, super hungry, right? So it's really good. Running, or I shouldn't say running, but cardio aids fat loss. It really does. I'm going to tell you that high intensity interval training does a much better job of aiding fat loss than the long endurance cardio, such as running. If you're a big runner and you do marathons and things like that, very difficult to put muscle mass on and do all the long distance running at the same time. And the reason that happens is, so you're doing all this cardio, you're running in marathons, you typically aren't eating enough protein and things like that to build that lean muscle. You're doing a lot of running, and what it does is it kind of wastes away that muscle. So a lot of times you tend to retain a little bit more body fat if you're a long distance runner. And not always, that kind of comes with age. Everybody's a little bit different. But again, like I said, it's all about what you're wanting for your goals, right? So the cardio that you choose is important. So stimulating muscle mass, burning fat, your HIIT workouts are much better. So I have a few notes in front of me. So let me stop and answer some questions. So Angela, which should be done first if you are doing both cardio and weight training? Do your weight training first. That takes a lot more energy and calories. So you want to get your weight training done and then do your cardio after. So I recommend doing your weight training, and then your cardio should be about 20 to 30 minutes. And doing that after your workout. Typically on a day off that you're not weight training is a little bit better, but I've done them both, and you do your cardio and stuff after. So great question. So Sonia, you have huge calves from being overweight. Does calf raises help them slim down or widen them? I'd like to slim them. So calf raises are really good, and it all depends. So it depends on how much protein you're eating, if you're working all your other muscles. So if you're doing and you said it's from being overweight. So you're going to build the muscle, but you're going to burn the fat around it. So you burn fat not in specific body areas. You're going to burn fat from all over your body. So it comes off, let's say you want to burn the fat around your calves, it's going to come off your whole body. It's not just your calves. So they will shrink down. You will put that muscle on, but if you're burning the fat at the same time, that's not going to make them bigger. It will make them appear bigger if you're not burning fat and losing some of the body fat, because the muscle's growing underneath, and then it does make the skin look like you have more body fat, if that makes sense. So hopefully I helped with that. So it's good to have the cardio along with the weight training. Again, it all depends on your goals. And so when you have a coach that's watching what you're doing, like the weight training and the cardio, we can look at where you're at, if you're progressing. Are you losing body fat? Are you losing inches? Are you putting some muscle mass on, and that's why the scale's not budging? So if you have someone that's working with you, they can help you with that, like how much cardio you should be doing versus weight training. So sometimes it's just a little bit of a fine line. So good. What else do we got here? Best strength training for tone or no bulk? Tone, so bulk. One thing that I will put a kibosh on right now, women, you'll never, ever, ever bulk up unless you take steroids. So some women are more prone to putting more muscle on, which maybe looks bulky, but bulk to me means bodybuilding bulk as in looking like a man more than feminine like a woman, if that makes sense. So you can lift lower weights, use lower weights, and do more repetitions. But you also have to do enough to burn the fat to look tone, if you know what I mean. It's kind of one of those fine lines, but if you're doing both is really, really good. So the bulk, a lot of women are afraid, I don't want to get bulky. Well, honestly, you're not going to get bulky because you're not taking steroids. So again, it depends on where you want to go with that and how many calories you're eating. So if you don't want a lot of muscle mass, then we would work your calories and your protein and your carbs and your fats and stuff to work on that. So hopefully that's really helpful too. So I was getting to some benefits of your cardio. So it does aid fat loss. It regulates your appetite, right? Other things it does is it's budget friendly, right? So you can go out and walk for free. You can get on your bike for free, all of that kind of thing. You might want to invest in a bike, but you can have a stationary bike and do that at home. So you can do that. You can jump rope if you like to do that. So that's another, it's budget friendly for sure. Also, it boosts your brain power. So cardio's really, really good. As we age and get older, our brains lose some tissue, and it starts at the age of 30. So if you're in this group, you're 40 and above, so you're losing some brain tissue. But that's why we exercise, right? Because our brain is telling our bodies what to do, so it's that mind-body connection. So, but cardiovascular exercise actually has been linked to reducing the amount of brain tissue that you're losing. So if you keep exercising, doing your cardio, weight training too, you're going to stay sharp in the mind. So because the mind and your brain, I should say, and your body are connected. So it makes sense. So you're not going to lose your balance if you exercise because you're going to be really mindful of how maybe you trip up the steps or trip over that curb and things like that. So it's going to help you maintain your healthy blood pressure levels, right? It's going to improve your endurance. You're going to breathe better, your heart's going to pump better, it's your blood pressure will then come down because your blood's not pushing through arteries that might be full of plaque and things like that. So you want to keep moving, jogging, cycling, swimming, all those things that we just talked about. Blood pressure goes up with people who are more sedentary. So a lot of us, when we've been at home and working at home, right? We're a little bit more sedentary. Some of us are still working from home, and that's been a lot. When I talk to women, that's what some of the problems are, right? You're sitting a lot, and then your blood's not flowing. So it's really good if you are sitting to maybe set your alarm, like on your watch or something, and get up and move, walk around your house, go outside for a walk, eat your lunch, and then go for a walk with the dog, or just go for a walk yourself. Do some squats, do some calf raises, just get that blood flowing. It also protects cardio protects your immune system. It's super important to get out and move every single day. And I'm not saying you have to run every day or jog every day or get on the treadmill every day, but move because it increases the immunoglobulins in your system, and those protect their immune system protecting molecules, immunoglobulins, and then I can't even say it. And they're produced from your white blood cells. So the more active we can be, the better. And through COVID, that was a big thing to protect your immune system. But we should always be doing that because it'll help us prevent us from getting colds all the time and the flus and just feeling run down, is to keep moving. So I'm just going to check to see if we have any more questions. You guys are awesome. I'm glad you're all here. I want more questions. Come on, guys. I love this. Also, I want to get into benefits of weight training. And weight training, why does it burn fat? Why does it sculpt muscle tissue? It keeps your metabolism healthy and improves stability and coordination. And I'm sure those that have been doing some strength training and even with your cardio are feeling the benefits of that. So of course, it builds muscle. That's one of the benefits of weight training. So what happens is the weights place resistance on your muscles so that the muscle tissue is broken down more quickly. What it then does, that triggers the body's response to clean it up and heal the tissue. So when you're lifting, you're breaking down the muscle, but it triggers your body's response to help build that muscle, which is growing lean muscle, which builds strength, endurance, and it will help reduce body fat. So that's a really good benefit of that strength training. Yes, weight training is perfect, Jody, is, yes. You can build muscle with just your body weight, especially if you're just starting a program and you've never done it before. We start with body weight because the more resistance and stress on your muscles, they are going to be starting to work harder and they're going to grow more quickly. So who cares where you start? If you've never weight trained before, it's okay to start with body weight. And let me tell you, you start doing body weight squats and you do enough of them, you're definitely going to feel it. So you start that way and then you gradually increase those weights. So let's say you're using 10-pound weights. Your body's going to get used to that and it's going to grow, and then you increase to 15-pound weights, etc. and you do that. So you want to push your muscles to the point of changing them. They will grow because you're fatiguing them, right? So yeah, I mean, you should start anywhere. But body weight training is absolutely okay to do. So it does help. It doesn't mean you have to buy the biggest dumbbells. So weight training, I can tell you it honestly is the best way to boost your metabolism and burn calories. It increases your basal metabolic rate, and that your basal metabolic rate is the rate that your body burns calories at rest. And so it increases that. So, and that's important because that will help you lose weight. Okay, it burns more calories. You've heard the calories in, calories out. Also, another benefit of weight training is, we just kind of talked about it, it boosts metabolism and fat loss. So here is a little bit of how weight training helps you lose body fat. Weight training leads to increased lean muscle mass, which I did probably talk about a little bit ago, which leads to a higher metabolic rate, which equals more calories burned. So when I say the fountain of youth is found in the weight room, I truly believe that. And that is one of the things I tell people all the time. You're going to burn more calories doing your cardiovascular exercise. But what's going to happen is weight training is going to keep that slow burn that you have all day long. And then that's going to lead to larger and more sustained calorie burn over the course of the day. So if you do weight training and then do cardio, just think about all those calories, but then you've got to make sure you're fueling your body effectively too. So muscle is more metabolically, that's what I want to say. Muscle is more metabolically active than fat. So the more you gain, the more calories you'll burn. More muscle mass you gain, again, the more calories you'll burn, and the more likely you're going to keep that body fat off. So weight training is especially important. I want you all to hear this. Is especially important helping women lose stubborn body fat, back fat, loose belly fat. Okay? Super, super important. You'll get rid of that quicker when you add in weight training versus just doing cardiovascular exercise. It's the stubborn areas, right? Weight training also protects your bones, increasing bone health. Weight-bearing exercises will help prevent osteoporosis, or if you're beginning the osteopenia, if you're in osteopenia, which is before osteoporosis, you can reverse that by weight training. Especially those of us who sit at a desk all day, really important to get that weight training. Your bones don't do well when they're just sitting, right? You need to be adding that extra force, making them strong and resilient. So if you do fall, you don't break something, right? Weight-bearing exercises, obviously squatting, some circuits, lunging, jogging, those kinds of things. If you have bad joints, you want to be really careful you don't overdo it. So 3 times a week for at least half an hour is perfect for those that have a lot of joint pain, a lot of maybe some joint disease and things like that. We got some more questions. What is the minimum amount of time you should do a HIIT to get a benefit? Minimum is 30 minutes. I would not go an hour, Pam. I would do 30 minutes to maybe 40 is a good HIIT. Even 45, but honestly, if you're doing a HIIT for 45, you're probably doing a little bit of a warm-up and a little bit of a cool-down, so your workout's probably 35 minutes. That's enough. That's pretty effective. So great question. Hi, Sonia. I hear that should I change up my workout program from time to time because of the plateau? Yeah, definitely change your workout. If you're hitting a plateau and you're not losing weight or inches or whatever it might be that you're really working on, definitely change it up. I recommend changing up your weightlifting routine. I do a little bit different in my programs. I tend to change things up every couple of weeks based on what you're doing. Some people say 4 to 6 weeks, do the same thing and then change it up after that, as long as you're progressing. If you're doing the same thing for 6 weeks, but you're just using the same amount of weights and you're not increasing, then I would want you to change it up a little bit. So at least 3 to 4 times a week weight training. Some people do 5, and then a couple days of maybe some HIIT in there is a really good to add that cardio in there, or a 20 to 30 minute run, something like that, or more of a sprint type thing, or get on the bike or the stair mill. But it's the long endurance cardio that will help you, will prevent you from building lean muscle mass, which will burn more fat if you want to make it happen faster. So if that makes sense. Good questions. Also, what weightlifting, strength training does, it relieves stress, right? Do you guys all feel a little stress sometimes, and then after you weight train, you feel like amazing? It removes, it kind of moves those stressors, doesn't maybe take them away, but it puts them in the back burner, helps you deal with them a little bit more, or I should say a little better. We all have stress. It's always going to be with us. But what it will do is help you deal with it and manage it and realize maybe it wasn't as stressful as you thought, and help you rationalize through it and make it better. So it also, what it does is it decreases those cortisol levels. So that helps kind of prevent that stress, or decreases the cortisol, which decreases the stress. That's what I'm trying to say. But also, another benefit, it aids sleep. So when you exercise, you're going to sleep better, and it tires your muscles. You're tired, you're physically tired, drops the cortisol, and that's what you want when you go to sleep. People who have high cortisol levels or are stressed all the time and are not exercising and are more sedentary do not sleep well. And then what happens, it's a vicious cycle, because the higher your cortisol levels are, the more fat you retain and the more stressed you are, and then you're not eating well because you're feeling bad, and it just goes on and on and on. So that's a whole nother topic we could get. So that's really what I wanted to cover. So what is better for fat loss, cardio or weights? What do you guys think? So this is what I think. Weight training is better for fat loss and building lean muscle. However, cardio will help with weight loss. It will improve your cardiovascular health, and it will help uncover that sculpted muscle that you've worked so hard to build. So doing a variety of each every week is the best way to get that body composition you're looking for. So those aesthetic goals, it's kind of like marrying both together. Like I said at the beginning, it's not one is better than the other. It really depends on where you're at in your journey, where you want to go. I do both. I do more weight training than cardio, but I still do some cardio. I do less than I used to because my goals are to put on nice lean muscle. I like it. It makes me feel good, and I do it for all the reasons that we just talked about. So keep your body moving in a very balanced, varied way. You don't want to be doing the same thing over and over. But also, I want to put a plug in for nutrition. You exercise, you're working really, really hard. Don't sabotage yourself by going and having a pizza and justifying it by saying, oh, I just worked out and I'm going to eat this pizza and I'm going to have a glass of wine or 2 glasses or the whole bottle. Because you're just going to sabotage that. So what you want to do is eat some lean protein sources, some complex carbs, your veggies, keeps your energy up, also helps aid with your fat loss and all the goals that you want to reach. So have to have nutrition along with your exercise. So both in the right combo, absolutely. Weights are better for fat loss and building lean muscle. Cardio will help with the weight loss. It aids it, right? Not too much cardio. Like I'm talking, if you're on the treadmill every day for 45 minutes to an hour, probably too much. And that might be slowing your fat loss down. But it also, cardio does improve your cardiovascular health, which is super important. So both in the right combination, depending on where you're at. So that's why sometimes, or not sometimes, it's important to have somebody helping you with that, to help guide you along in the right way. So way to go, Nancy. Same. Yep, you guys got it. This has been great. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll do more question and answers. I love doing this. If you have any ideas of what you'd like me to do a Facebook live stream on in the future, let me know. Next week, we're going to be doing another question and answer. It'll be either on something with nutrition, or I might do something on mindset. So if one is, you want one more than the other, let me know. Put in the comments. Guys, it's been fantastic. I can't wait to do this next week with you. I would love some feedback. Otherwise, have an amazing rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.